You're good to go, Cypher.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Alright, hi everyone, I'm Cyber, and welcome to this game called Spectrobes. So we've had this at 2 annuals before actually, and you may wonder about the estimate that has dropped severely since then. So for reference, at annual 2017, this game had a 2-hour estimate. At annual 2019, it had a 1 hour 25 estimate. Today we have 50 minutes. So to explain this shortly, this game got absolutely broken in half this year, so to the point where it actually warranted a category split. So that's going to be fun to show off. I've got my any percent boys with me, Sniper Wave and Heels.
Good afternoon.
All the any percent runners are here right now, so heck yeah.
We need more runners.
Alright. Let's just get this run going, I guess. So, time will start once I select into the file, so let's get it going in 3, 2, 1, go!
Starting off with a magnificent cutscene, as most good speed games do.
That is on the top screen, unfortunately, so it's like this little small thing down there, which you can't really see well, because most of the action is going to happen on the touch screen, and I didn't bother making another scene just to switch for cutscenes. So, yeah. Enjoy the small little cutscene you can see right there.
Yeah, just for background, it's a Nintendo DS, so it has 2 screens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's actually really
playing
nice
on Japanese because
start off with the cutscenes. Makes mashing a bit more lenient.
Yeah. One of you want to explain the story of the game since I'm playing in Japanese?
I honestly think there's too many tricks for that, isn't there?
Fair enough.
It's Pokemon in space, alright? It's made by Disney, it's great. Do people need to know more? Pokemon in space, man, come on.
Yeah, the TLDR of the story for now, it's basically, they have found an unknown object somewhere in their solar system, and that's what we're about to investigate to start off our story.
So yeah, the reason why I'm playing on a Japanese cart of this game actually is because it saves a bit of time on slow scrolling text. I believe over the course of the run it's like 20 to 25 seconds.
Something like that.
Something like that. It's less on the old any percent due to there being more dialogue. There's actually more text boxes in Japanese there. However, some of the text in this game scrolls by really slowly, as you'll see in a bit. And on Japanese, it actually saves a lot of time there due to the lack of characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure on one of the areas alone, it already saves 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, like somewhere around 17, I believe. Handy thing that DS games aren't region locked, so I didn't actually have to get a Japanese DS as well.
So, you ready for the hardest fight in the game?
Yeah. So the first fight that we're about to enter is actually one of the most technical fights, and it's pretty easy to mess up, but I'm not gonna lose a lot of time to it, hopefully. It's just, hard to do perfectly. Let's see how this goes.
So this fight's actually interesting because every runner kind of does it differently. I know Heal has a setup that is a lot different from both of us, and we use a kind of similar strat.
It's all the same idea, though.
Very solid first fight there.
Yeah, that was about as good as you can do it. Just in 3 actions.
Just really quickly, you saw there was a purple tornado, right?
Yep.
The way random fights in this game work is those tornadoes will spawn around the world, and if you walk into one, you get an encounter or battle.
Yeah, we want to avoid those as much as possible, because we really only want to get involved in the mandatory fights of the game, so every time we run into one of these vortexes, it will actually lose us 13 seconds, because we'll then have to escape from the battle.
Luckily, in this game, there is only one that is unavoidable.
Now, there are a couple of few There are a couple of few that can be in some, douchey spots to the extent where they're basically unavoidable as well.
So the way how the aggro works with the vortexes, most of them just have a range, and once they are in range, they will target you. However, once the vortex hits a wall, it'll stop the aggro until you are back in range, and you can use that to manipulate the vortexes a little bit.
So yeah, right there, the old man in the space capsule that we found introduced himself as Aldous from a star system that was actually eradicated 16 years ago by the Crawl, which are the aliens that we just fought. and he's telling us about how Spectrobes, the creatures that we fought with, the space Pokemon, are basically our only hope in fighting the Kroll, and since they have shown up in our star system, pretty likely they have an interest in, destroying that one as well, so we kind of got to do something about that, so...
That's kind of their whole thing, they just eat stars or something.
Yeah.
It's never really explained, it's just...
Alright.
Also, the game has voice mechanics. You're gonna see that once ever. Here it comes, I guess.
Are you ready for the best part of the run? A German idiot screaming at rocks.
By shouting? If you have any shouting emails, please put them in chat.
So yeah, this game tried to use like pretty much anything the DS had to offer to the best. It as you just saw, it has mic input. It uses the touchscreen a lot,
which is a bit finicky sometimes.
Yeah. So we just awoke a child Spectrobe, which we cannot use to fight. But I actually just kind of mindlessly spammed A there and interacted with the lab again. Didn't want to do that. But yeah, child Spectrobes, they cannot fight, however they can accompany us in the field and they will help us excavate fossils and minerals. Which is exactly what we have to do now.
For the Pokemon people.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna have to do now. We're supposed to just go out and, dig around a little, see what we can find. In reality, we only need to find 2 cubes to advance the story.
Cubes are a plot thing.
Yeah.
You can mostly ignore it.
But yeah, we need 2 of them to advance here, but we're already going to start breaking the game here. Because there's a certain area on this planet called Tabletop Mountains, which you're not actually supposed to access just yet. It's only like until mid-game where you're actually supposed to enter it. But yeah, I kind of already hinted at it that this game got kind of broken in half this year. And this is where the madness begins.
Also, we found this cube, which is slightly faster than the old one.
Yeah, shoutouts to Heels on that one.
We actually used to move to the bottom left of the first screen in order to find the other cube.
Right, so we're going to be heading into the mountain section here. Going to take another short detour here to pick up our second cube.
Should we, explain the trick?
Sure, go for it.
So... basically, there's a few walls in this game that disappear after you progress a certain way through the game, and it turns out you can walk through these walls when you're not supposed to by going backwards.
Yeah.
And to go
those
backwards...
are some interesting vortexes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Alright, here we go.
In this game, you can run and you can walk. And it turns out if you walk and very, very slightly tap the D-pad, you will move backwards like this. And you can spam it a lot of times to keep moving backwards. And eventually you just kind of pop through the sign.
Yeah, so you're not supposed to be able to go through that sign at all.
We just kept 20 minutes of gameplay.
30 even.
But it's about 30, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually really funny because later in the story, when you actually quote-unquote disable the sign, the line that is being used by one of the characters is actually, but we're a planet patrol. These signs don't work for us. Turns out they still don't.
Yep.
Always have been.
I got a pretty awful one there.
Ooh.
You could dodge that vortex if he was standing still. Pretty much any vortex that is static in this game is avoidable. But, mobile vortexes in tight spots just kind of don't make for a good combo. So, yeah, we just kind of got to take this one.
There's just one absolute meme lord that you cannot dodge, and we'll maybe see that one later. It's pretty common.
We'll see. Another property that this area has is you'll see these flashes, especially while I'm on the outside section. So this mountain has a lot of strong aurora shining down from the heavens, and that damages everything in the game that does not have a specific property. Oh, outside vortexes are very fast. So yeah, everything that doesn't have the corona property in this game gets damaged. And since we have absolutely none of those, we're gonna be at 1 HP.
But it turns out it doesning matter because of a different trick. Also, yes, it is called the Corona property. There's Flash, Aurora, Corona. It's a basic element triangle.
Yeah.
With this thing.
It's basically the same as Fire, Water, and Grass in Pokemon.
Yep.
Good thing about this area is all the vortexes are static and therefore avoidable. Ah!
You walk into them.
Yeah, you can take this vortex on the inside. It's a bit precise, but saves a bit of time on overworld movement. Unless you, of course, bump into them. Kind of unfortunate that I didn't get to show this off. There can be another one right here, but that one's really, really hard to avoid, so I usually just go around that.
Alright, so coming up next, we're supposed to fight a boss and then go get a thing we need. But it turns out you can skip this boss by just ramming into the wall here.
Yeah, so by holding up against the wall, because the wall is somewhat sloped, it actually pushes us to the left, which allows us to bypass the boss trigger here. So shoutouts to Eris of Sparta, who is not even a speedrunner of this game, who just randomly dropped into our community Discord one day and was like, yo, you guys know that you can skip this boss? Which is, by the way, just the most annoying boss in the entire frickin' run. Yeah, we didn't know. So now we're gonna walk back and intentionally trigger that boss. And because we're not even supposed to be here, you know, the game gets really confused and doesn't even load the boss's overworld sprite. But we can still trigger the fight. And we're now going to take an intentional death to warp back to the ship.
We do not have a jetpack yet, so we need to basically death warp.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna make a bit of a specific movement. Boop!
We got the boop!
Fastest way to die there. I intentionally took out one of the Spectrobes out of my team, actually, because of the way AI targeting works. So that way, if we just do that movement, we always get hit.
So a bit of trivia on that boss fight. How long has it been? In about the 3 years of routing, it mostly centered around this boss even. So starting off back until 2018, I want to say, we actually used to buy an armor with Corona property just to be sure that we don't die the one hit against this boss.
Yeah, because like I've mentioned, if you have a Corona property, you don't get damaged in the tabletop mountains.
Exactly. And in 2018, we found out that, how about we just fight this guy with 1 HP?
It's faster.
Turned out to be a very interesting fight indeed. And then, as Siver said before, Ares of Sparta came in. And then the boss got relegated to being a death warp.
Yeah, it was actually completely out of the game for quite a while, and it just returned.
Yeah.
So basically, the setup for the sequence break is done now. This is like the normal progression of the game.
Yeah, we're not supposed to have the diamond mineral in our inventory just yet, but that's not going to make a difference. We're now going to just progress with the story as normal until we get to a new planet. And then things are just going to suddenly skip ahead and things are going to not really make a lot of sense. So right now we're just reporting back to the commander about our findings, and he tells us to go investigate on Genshi, the first planet in this system, because the professor who runs the lab on that planet has gotten lost and apparently hasn't returned. Also, there are sightings of Crawl, so we're sent out to investigate.
We're also the only police officer dude that actually has the space Pokemon, so it kind of has to be us.
Yeah.
Also, shoutouts to Weapons Guy, who actually got a name in the sequel to this game, Beyond the Portals. Yeah. I believe his name is Dave.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, Dave over here gives us a sword and a blaster, just, you know, some more weapons to use in fights, but we're not even gonna bother equipping them because Spectrobes are just way better at killing off Crawl, so no point in equipping them.
I just like to think it's in Japanese, so we don't understand the instructions, so we just don't bother.
That also works.
Shout out to slow text.
Yeah.
Right.
That was an instance of that.
So we could just walk back to the cruiser right now and just move ahead in the story, but we're gonna take another detour to pick up an extra cube, because that will once again save us a lot of time.
Okay, so if you bought a cartridge of this game, every copy of the game would have these like cards. They're like plastic cards with holes in them.
Yeah, it was.
And the idea is you get a special machine, which is unlocked by getting this cube, and then you place the physical card over the console and poke through like the holes in the card in the numbered order.
Yeah, it was like a promotional thing. It was like a promotional thing.
This is very useful because we can get overpowered stuff.
Yeah. In this day and age, all these codes are available online. Shoutouts to the Spectrobes wiki. So we're just gonna use this to, you know, cheat ourselves some pretty strong Spectrobes in and just, blaze through the rest of the game.
So right at around the start of May, Kyo actually discovered that there is a more optimal setup to use than what we used to do. So we actually used to get 2 of the same Spectrobe, but Kyo discovered I think it's a Aurora property Spectrobe, which actually deals a lot more damage to the final boss, ending up saving somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah, because of how the property triangle works, basically.
So we're just gonna slam some codes in here.
And also it turned out that on the other version, on the other old any percent route, so any percent no frame walk, as it is known now, it also turned out to save a lot more than that even, because a lot of new strats were found on the bosses that are not shown in this category.
Alright, so the 3 Spectrobes I got, I'm just gonna explain them real quick. So the one we're gonna have on the left side for our fights is going to be Inca Flare. That is the one we've been using for like a long time already. It's just the most offensive Spectrobe we can just possibly get. He deals a lot of damage and, just makes a lot of fights go by very quickly. The one on the right is Grildregos, which is the new Spectrobe that was just found out to be faster earlier this year. And the third one is a Windora, and that one we're not going to use to fight, but we're going to have him in our support slot. And the way support slots work in this game, you can have up to 6 Spectrobes with you, but only 2 of them will actually be able to fight. But those other 4 that rest in the support slots, they support your fighting Spectrobes by giving them some stat boosts. So Windora just happens to give us a +2 in attack and speed. And those are both really good because attack obviously will increase our damage output, making some boss fights go by faster. And speed, it's speed. We like speed. We're speedrunners.
Unfortunately, it's only in the battles, not in the overworld, but hey, we'll take it. This guy here gives us the jetpack, which we're gonna use to return to the ship a lot of times. Very fast.
We don't have to walk back every time because, there's not always, just a boss waiting for us that we can just get booped by and death warp back. Unfortunately, this game is not that convenient. But hey, jetpacks are also cool, I guess.
The jetpack also is the reason that we actually used the death warp on the first boss.
Yeah.
So because we sequence broke, we actually didn't have the jetpack at the time, which we do in No Frame Walk. So we had to find a way to actually get around that, and it just turned out death warping was faster.
It's just conveniently right there.
We're very lucky that that isn't a soft lock.
Alright, coming up to our next mandatory fight here. If I do this right, I can clear this fight in just 1 action.
I also found that. You're welcome.
Yep. Heels over here has found a lot of small optimizations over the years.
Over the year, I guess.
Whatever. Nice.
Nice.
Very good fight.
Yep, that's that.
1 fell swoop.
Now, this is one of the few fights where targeting actually matters. So, if you try to mirror this and use the right Inca to attack, the AI's pattern changes in such a way that you actually cannot get a setup like this.
Yeah, it's actually important that we have Inca Flare on the left side. It makes a lot of the fights convenient and this one just possible to begin with.
So we usually did, before we knew about this strat, we actually used another strat where if you got it just about pixel perfect, I want to say, you could actually hit all 3, but I think it's only been done 2 or 3 times.
Alright, so we cleared this mission, so now we're getting an incoming call from our commander, who's like, yo, good job on that mission, I've got another one for you. So now he's telling us to go to Nessa, a desert planet, and he's telling us to meet up with a man named Cyrus, because he apparently wants something from us, so let's go over there and check it out. And
Wait,
this is...
you're saying that the water-type gym leader is named after a sand planet?
Yes.
Amazing. How fitting.
Alright, so this is where the game really breaks now. So we would get 2 missions throughout the story progression from this man named Cyrus. The first one would tell us to go to the ruins of Nessa and bring him a blue keystone. And the second one would be because we want the blue keystone back from him for lore purposes. He wants something in exchange, which just so happens to be the diamond mineral from Tabletop Mountain. So we're going to be...
we already got.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking to him now for the first time, and he's obviously going to assign us this mission to, you know, obtain the blue keystone, but then we're going to talk to him, and then the game gets a bit confused because it detects, wait, they have the diamond mineral. I guess it should play this cutscene now. So yeah, very weirdly now, Cyrus asks us to obtain the blue keystone, but then we're going to give him a diamond mineral, and he's going to give us a blue keystone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically an item dupe, except we don't actually bother getting the first instance of the item because we don't need it.
Yeah. Welcome to Sequence Breaks.
You're welcome.
The
I can't
story
take all the
behind
credit though. This was a community effort for sure.
the story behind the trick itself is actually really interesting because it turned out that Inky, who is another runner of No Frame Walk, actually discovered the small backwards momentum you get if you tap the D-pad for 1 frame while walking. And that ended up with, I think it was either me or Cyver requesting him to try it on clipping through different things. And I think from there, Heal was the one who actually tried everything there. Also, nice data face.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very tight trick.
And all of that actually just led to the point where the game is now.
Yeah. Because Heels managed to clip through a sign on Colin, which is for the museum. DLC content now.
We completely skipped the museum, by the way.
Yeah. We also skip a complete planet. Like, straight up, one planet is just relegated to DLC now.
Wait, I thought the museum was on lockdown because of the DLC. That's
Oh, that also works.
So yeah, if you've been paying attention in the space menu, you actually see a planet on the top left. That's actually a DLC planet. Some really interesting design and boss fights.
It's pretty small. It's a brown planet.
Ah,
wow. Unlucky.
Yeah, so that's that one vortex that if he spawns, he's completely unavoidable. That's that one static vortex that we cannot avoid.
Yep. He's called Hulk Carl. He shows up a lot.
Yeah.
It's, the term for the getting this encounter is also getting ruined.
Yep.
We're very creative with naming because we're in the ruins of Nessa right now.
So this encounter as well has a very interesting relationship with the runners. In No Frame Walk or the old route, we actually had to pass this point 3 times. The first of which was to obtain the blue keystone. The second time around is practically what we are doing now, which is inserting the red and green keystone we never obtained. And the last one is actually fighting the boss.
But of course, because of the sequence break, we just skipped right to the boss.
Yeah. So yeah, we only actually have to visit this area once now, which is neat.
But it's also unfortunate because that still leaves one chance to get ruined, but what are you gonna do?
I just call it a 2/3 of an improvement.
It is.
There have been many runs between Cyver and I that have been thrown away to getting ruined a few too many times.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess lore-wise, basically the Carl have a sort of headquarters on a very, very distant planet in this solar system. Think Pluto. And it turns out our current technology cannot fly us there, but we're investigating this kind of theory that this ruin is actually an ancient spaceship. And that's why we're here.
Yep.
And it turns out it is, and we're gonna use that to fly to the edges of the solar system.
Yeah.
To see.
Turns out the Kroll have other plans for us because, you know, this big boy shows up. Also called Sniper's best friend.
The whole place.
I don't want to talk about it. We're in an abusive relationship, and I'm the one being abused.
Yeah, this fight is notorious for memeing Sniper, of all people.
So back in the day, when we did a lot of No Frame Walk, we actually used the right Inca to try and kill this. And you already saw the shot that hit the Grildergrass on the right side. So if you try and use right Inca, For some reason, that shot tracked Relon on my end and has ended, I think it was 4 or 5 world record pace runs at the time. It was a moment, alright.
That was a very nice fight, though.
Yeah. The way we use Inca Flare's special attack there, it's not actually supposed to hit any enemies multiple times. It's supposed to be just a one-shot, but we kind of use the back of the arena to kind of bounce the enemy against it and then back into our attack. And if we do that perfectly, we can hit him up to 3 times, which is what I did right there. Right, it's just a bit of cutscenage coming up here, so guess it's a good point for our host to read some donations or plug things, if there is anything to read.
Perfect, because we got one literally 20 seconds ago.
Well, hell yeah.
We have €1 from 12 saying, "I love you, Siver.
Aw.
Beware of the crab god, though. You're awesome and you got this, fam."
Love you too, 12.
You want me to say more stuff, or...?
Go for it, yeah.
Alright, so just letting you guys know that we are raising money for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues and to support everyone who has dealt with mental issues themselves or within their family. All of your donations will go to Mind.
Alright, so as it turns out, this theory of it being a giant ancient starship is actually true. So, with the power of that, we can now fly to the 2 most distant planets in our star system. So, of course, being the reckless idiots that we are, we're just gonna head straight into the base of the crawl and just, dive in. Also, yeah, sorry about the little cutscene down there. Very small.
It looks better when it's small. It's on a DS, it's not very high resolution.
Yeah.
Great.
Fair.
Granted, even upscaled, it still looks pretty good considering the resolution on the original DS.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe
not
it's
bad.
492 pixels.
Yep.
And 240 on the DS Lite.
So we're just trying to fly straight to the final planet. That's the purple one there. But it turns out there's a bunch of enemies that are like gonna break our ship. So we're like, nah, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, so conveniently there's another planet nearby, so we just kind of do an emergency landing on Himuro. So this planet, this one has a story, alright.
Do we really have to do this? Can we just skip the planet instead?
Sure thing. So yeah,
I guess we are.
yeah, this planet used to be like pretty much the worst instance of crawl RNG when it came to overworld encounters. It's a pretty big planet. You'd have to walk around a lot, and there's a lot of like very fast vortexes and tight spaces where they can catch you easily. But thanks to the moonwalk that we found, we can also apply that here because there's a big door in the middle of this planet. But yeah, blah blah blah, something something, non-permanent walls are just merely a suggestion, so yeah, you know where this is going. We're gonna be moonwalking through this door. That's an unfortunate vortex.
While we're going through this encounter, the door saves about, I think it's 7 minutes with average encounter luck, and 6 minutes when done optimally. Which never happens because it's Himuro.
Yeah. For reference, in like an average run, you could get somewhere between 5 and 7 encounters on this planet, and it wouldn't even be that weird.
Yeah, and you can consider, 5 encounters, 13 seconds.
Here we go, time to shred my D-pad again.
So while we're talking, it's actually, even when you do not get the encounters, there's still a chance that you need to go around all of the encounters, which will lose time on their own.
Yeah.
Alright.
The door is tightly shut.
Yeah, that text box says the door is tightly shut. Do we care about it? I don't know, probably not.
It's unfortunate they didn't lock it.
So it's a really interesting thing with that cutscene. So what that cutscene does, from a coding perspective, is the moment you hit the trigger, Relon gets turned around 180 degrees and will walk an X amount of distance, which puts him in front of the door again. However, because we are facing the other way, the door still rotates us, but we actually clip through the door this time.
Yeah, I think like the door itself doesn't have any collision, just there's a trigger in front of it
that prevents you from going through.
until you're supposed to.
Alright, so as we now find out, this planet is actually not a natural planet. It appears to be man-made because it's full of machines, and this little controller thingy right here actually allows us to control the orbit of this planet. And since this planet is basically a big crystal of ice, we can use that to bundle the sun's energy and fire it at Mado. Because, you know, the Crawl hate light, which is why they're so far away from the sun. But yeah, now we've opened up the path and we can head to the final planet of the game. But as we since we're here, we also find something that turns out to be a relic crystal. We're just thinking, you know, kind of looks like a cube. Maybe Aldous knows something about it, so time to bring it back to the ship and see what the old man knows about it.
Now it is a little unfortunate that because of how that door works that we faced through earlier, if we just walked into it now, it would push us back into the control room, so we have to do the backwards walking thing to get out again.
Went a bit too far. The door is tightly shut.
A really nice thing about this clip here is that there's a really good visual reference. So you see Rowland's Tacets. The moment the Tacet starts clipping through the wall, that's a good reference point to start your moonwalk.
Alright. If you're wondering what kind of noise comes from my end, I use a bit of a strange technique to, you know, get very fast inputs. So basically what I do is, I slide the back of my touch screen, the back of my touch pen, across the D-pad while holding B. Which allows me to, you know, get very fast inputs. Because you have to do very precise inputs as well, so you kind of just get very fast inputs pretty precisely, and it works really well, actually.
So just to reiterate how the trick works, the trick only puts you backwards if you hit the D-pad for exactly 1 frame, and every time you hit it for 2 frames, you basically undo one of the taps. So you have to be really precise, really fast, and sliding just turned out to be a really good way.
Yeah, so right here the game actually gives us an illusion of choice, because it's like, you know, that relic crystal we found, it tells us about an ultimate form Spectrobe that we could find on the lava flows of Genshi, the first planet. But, you know, the path to Mado is open, so we could go right there. But as it turns out, the ultimate form is absolutely required to beat the game, because the final boss has a shield, and as long as that shield is up, we absolutely cannot damage him. And yeah, it turns out the only way to break the shield is an ultimate form Spectrobe, so no matter what, we gotta go here. But I won't complain, this is probably my favorite area in the entire game. I just love the aesthetics of it, the music's pretty cool, so yeah.
And it's the origin of the single best Spectrobes meme, which we'll be getting to in a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you just gonna tank the encounter to show it off, or like if we get that unfortunate crawl?
I'm still gonna show it off.
I feel like you have to, it's one of the fewer tricks. Worst comes to worst, it only loses a few seconds if your clip is fast enough. And judging by the way Cyver's been playing, he's been doing a great job.
So plot-wise, basically that crystal thing we picked up on Himuro from the control panel has the power to freeze lava flows, so we can walk over them, and it's like leading us to the ultimate form Spectrobes. It's like a thing you pick up, basically.
Oh, that's a very nasty one.
So this area here is the area where Japanese saves the most time. So every time you do trigger the crystal, which freezes the flow of lava, you get a lot of slow text, which is a lot faster on Japanese.
Yeah, so in this section alone you save 17 seconds. I'm going to lure this vortex a bit away so I can get some extra time on this trick.
Maybe you can get him on the wall.
You can walk over these lava flows, which means
he's gonna get me.
They're one of those disappearing walls, and every disappearing wall that we can just access, we can use the backwards walking trick to walk through it.
Yeah, so I'm
That's
just gonna...
hilarious, they're gonna see it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna... May as well commit now.
Hashtag hot tub gang.
hot tub gang indeed.
Burn!
Yeah.
It just looks so dumb.
Pretty
So in the
silly
next
trick. This
area-
is like the moonwalk that saves the least amount of time. Like if you get a really, really good moonwalk, you can save somewhere between 8 to 10 seconds. But hey, pretty cool trick. Well,
Yeah, the
not
area
really,
we're in now-
not exactly cool because you know it's pretty hot in there.
In this area, you can also moonwalk. It is not recommended, as you can still not interact with the location of the interactable. But
Yeah.
you could clip into this lava, which looks kind of neat.
I see someone in chat asking, can't you just moonwalk into the shield? No, the shield is in a battle, like just around the boss, and we can't walk in battles, and like it's a scripted thing, so it doesn't work for that. We unfortunately absolutely have to get this thing from here.
Yeah, and the only walls you can clip through are walls that are at some point in the game disappear. So the sign disappears once you get to that point in the story. The museum door, which we sadly didn't see, is also a clippable object. The door in Himuro, it disappears when you hit the 2 switches, and the lava flow disappears when you interact with it with the relic crystal. I feel like there's one wall I forgot, but I'm not sure.
I guess technically hot tub. It's not exactly a wall, but
Yeah. Alright, so we're just gonna get a bit of an explanation as to how the ultimate form works. Just, you know, more slow text where Japanese saves a lot of time. Like this section alone, this whole area, like 17 to 20 seconds. Like the big
Yes,
reason why
yeah.
Japanese is faster.
I guess we didn't clearly explain it, but basically in battles you can hold A to charge up energy, and Spectrobes have a normal attack, but if you charge up some energy, they can do a special attack. And with the ultimate form Spectrobe, we can charge up more energy and do an ultimate special mega attack.
It's a great way to put it.
So not every special attack has the same amount of charge needed. So Inca Flare, the one we are using, only needs a single bar of charge. The Grildergross actually needs 2, and for the Geo you need to use 3. There is also a special attack you can do with all 4 bars, however it is not really useful aside from resetting certain patterns on bosses should Cyver mess up at some point.
Yeah. Alright, so we're on to the final planet of the game, and this is probably because Himuro isn't that bad anymore. This is now the worst instance of, you know, vortexes being able to screw you over, so we could rack up some encounters here.
Also, this cutscene exists.
Oh yeah, right.
Hey Rallin, you're almost there!
Thanks, Gina, didn't know!
Oh yeah, that pink-haired girl, she's Gina.
Yeah, she's annoying.
She's not really relevant to the story when we sequence break, so she just kind of shows up.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah, hate to see that one. Yeah, there are a couple
Oh,
of
it's
really
broken
nasty
boxes.
ones.
So the way hitboxes work with the encounters are really weird on slopes. They extend a lot more to the right side than they do when you're on even ground. We still don't know why it's a thing, but it gets us a lot more than it should.
Oh, yes.
That's lucky.
Fantastic dodge.
Yeah, that's just the thing of the aggro of the vortexes resetting once they hit a wall. So he was just kind of bumping himself into the left wall over and over, and I kind of just slid past him there. Absolutely, I could have gotten encountered there, though. I just kind of went for it, so that was not calculated at all. Oh, hello there. Yeah, Mato's a bit rough with encounters.
It's mostly just running though, so if we have like a donation or something, we could do that now, I think.
Yeah.
No donation, but I can pluck some donations incentives. There's currently 2 more in the running for the upcoming games. There are some naming incentives for Pokemon White. And then there is also the naming incentive for Darkest Dungeon. So if you want to snipe some names, the one that is coming up the soonest is the Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, it's right
which
after
is in
this
2
one.
runs from now. No, not after yours.
Oh, really?
No, there is one more run in between.
Ah.
It's
But after that it
Castlevania
is.
Simon's Quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
And then later on, yeah, there is some Pokemon Sword and Shield incentive. So if you wanna, you know, snipe some names, go ahead and check out what are the options right now with the standings. You can find it all on the tracker page. I will also post it in the chat.
been quite the rough meadow so far.
Yeah.
However, we do get to see more of the scenery, so that's kind of a good thing. Very much getting the fungal side of the crawl across, as this is their home base.
Alright, final area where we can get vortexes. Oh, come on! That
Wow.
absolute dingus. Yeah, they can go onto these tight spaces, and when they do that, it's a hassle to get them out because they're really slow. Yeah, basically you just take the encounter.
So on this very long bridge you just passed, if you get that as an encounter, it is actually, unless you perfectly juggle the aggro, which is hard because of the walls, you actually save time by just taking the encounter.
Yeah.
It is really horrid with the slow speed.
Alright, on to the final boss.
It's so ridiculous that we're already there. This used to be so much longer of a
Yeah.
speedrun.
Yeah, we usually just got to the delivering the diamond mineral around this time.
Yeah, the run
We
got
just got the
basically
message.
cut in half. It's crazy.
It's really
You can still
interesting.
run that out. I think Sniper's been doing that a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't
played
run it in a
bit
while.
of, no frame walk recently. With the new
I-
routes as well.
Yeah, it's on the boards. It's changed a little bit too, though, because of the battle strats.
I'd
Right.
say no frame walk's a lot more beginner friendly of a run.
So this
considering
boss
the stats.
immediately has a shield up, so we're immediately gonna charge to 3 bars. What I did there with my Spectrobes is I inputted the charge command, so they fill the charge gauge faster. So yeah, we can get this animation a little earlier.
This is one of the shields we need the ultimate form Spectro to break, I believe. You can see how it's not like a physical wall, it's like a thing that the boss has.
So this is one of the few bosses that also got a big quality of life upgrade once the strats with the Grill Dragos were found, because we used to do this strat with the right Inca, and for some reason this boss of Torso loved to bounce off of the right Inca.
Yeah, for some reason it works a lot nicer with left Inca, so bless Girl Dragos strats because it also optimized other fights.
Bless
Whoa.
left Inca.
Yeah. Alright, so as we figure out this big fungus thing behind the boss, it has healing properties. But not just for us. It can also heal the Crawl, as we find out. So we kind of come to the conclusion, you know, it doesn't matter if we beat up Crawl, they can just come back here and restore their health to full. So, you know, we kind of have to destroy this. So, on to the real final boss of the game.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
This fight is extremely difficult to do as fast as possible. Which,
There's a very new scat for this, which hasn't fully been tested yet, which is slightly more optimal than the version that Cyber's doing now. And yes, it is absolutely mandatory to punch the flower twice.
Yes. Right. Got that out of the way?
It actually is. It would end up with 2 HP if we don't.
Yeah, so we can just
It's
punch
not
it
a joke,
twice
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it. Alright, so we did it! We destroyed it, we saved our star system. Right?
Yep. That's
we
that.
are in there.
Yeah, we in there. Wait a second.
Heard that scream before. Oh no.
Yeah, where did the guy go?
Yeah, I thought there was a crawl here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I think I used my healing powers on him. by
Yeah,
accident.
you know where this is going. Welcome to the actual final boss for real this time. I swear.
But
This is-
actually, for real.
Yeah,
This
so
is the one fight that we've been saving that right Spectrobe for the entire run.
just kind of moving up to him to bait out that shot.
This is that Godora special attack. It shoots 5 projectiles in a slightly awkward
Yeah.
pattern, but
Right there, we only have to hit 3 of them. So we're gonna charge to full,
yes.
then hit the Geo, because now once his health drops to 2/3, he puts up a shield. So ultimate form to the rescue.
This is also one of the few times the properties are actually utilized in the game. So all bosses have either Flash, Aurora, or Corona as a property, and it just works in a rock, paper, scissors kind of system. So Grildergrass, being Aurora, actually does a
Yeah.
lot more damage to the final boss compared to the Inca Flare.
So the optimal strat would have been there hitting 4 of the shots with Grildergrass. It's pretty precise though. I hit 3, which is still time safe over the old strat, because then you only have to hit him once with an Inca Flare special, and that's the end of the fight.
Yeah, it was a decent fight.
Yeah, it's going to be like a high 44. That was a pretty good
Yeah,
run.
up 45 is really good.
So yeah, beyond this, it's just plot and text.
Yeah, so time's going to be coming up pretty soon. It's going to be when the top screen fades to white. So yeah.
Yeah,
Already on
it
that.
turns white in like a flash, so it's a nice indicator.
So yeah, I guess this is as good of a time as any for the shoutouts, I guess. First
Yeah.
of which, I guess we all got a shout
Actually,
out.
wait for the credits because you know I got to call out time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Time coming up very soon here.
So get ready on that. And time. All right. That's a pretty good run. 44-49.
That is
for me.
right behind Heels PB, I think.
I think
Yep.
yeah,
Something like that.
pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, now's the perfect time to get out shoutouts. So go ahead, Snipe.
First of all, shoutouts to Fretzy, who got every runner that isn't himself into the game. It used to be just Fretzy. I joined in later. Cyber joined after seeing the run from Annual 2017, and from there we are slowly getting to become a real big community. I think there's 6 different runners right now. A few running no framework, a few running any percent. Big shoutouts to the Spectrobes community itself as well.
Yeah, there's actually
for
a pretty
helping
big
us a lot.
community. Like
It's a lot bigger than you expect.
yeah, for how unknown like this little game series is. Like I like to say it's a game series that is unknown for most, but very beloved by the few people that do remember this.
It's definitely a bit of a hidden gem.
Yeah. So yeah, big shout outs to the Spectrobes community out there. It's like a pretty big Discord server there actually. Was very surprised to see so many people still, you know, hanging on to this little trilogy from 2007 to 2009. Also, shoutouts to the one only runner of the Wii game in the trilogy, Spectrobes Origins. Shoutouts to Gary J.
Yeah.
Oh, Origins.
Yeah,
That game is a completely different animal compared to this.
for sure.
You think moonwalking's weird? Watch him go
Yeah.
out of bounds.
Yeah, Gary J completely tore that game in half. Single-handedly, too.
I guess there's one more shoutouts we should make, which is to Beanie Inky for originally discovering the first step of the moonwalk.
Yeah, that's where it
Literal.
all started. Yeah.
Now we're here.
That's where we are. So yeah, I want to give a big thank you to BSG for, you know, letting me run these games all the time. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to both of my co-commentators, Heels and Sniper, for being here with me, memeing it up. Even though it is like 3 a.m. for me and Snipe and like, what, 4 a.m. for Heels?
Yep.
Yeah.
As
We're,
we
Also,
do.
we're
let me
pretty
just quickly
stupid.
say, if someone wants to run this game, it's very easy to pick up.
For
You
sure.
can get sub 50 quite easily just by practicing the boss a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling curious, go ahead and try it. You can do it in an emulator if you want.
Yeah, and you know, feel free to join our Discord, which is linked on the SRC page of the game. If there's like ever anything if you like decide to pick up the game and you like want to have questions about anything, just feel free to hit any of us up. We'll gladly help you get started.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else you guys have to say?
I guess we're gonna thank all the viewers for watching and just tuning in to this great event.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
You're
that's-
breathtaking.
All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be it from us. So up next we have a Castlevania, I believe.
Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, yes,
Yeah.
by Freeland. Before that, though, we are going into an intermission, followed by some ads, and then actually we will turn off the stream for a minute or two, and then we'll be back with Castlevania, so stay tuned.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon. Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.